Welcome to Singles Pursuing Purpose, and I am Lemoy. Wherever you are joining me from today, I am so delighted to share with you. Today is an extraordinary day. It is the launch of Singles Pursuing Purpose. And to help me get this discussion started is Pastor Rohan Samuels, and he's going to help us understand the difference between passion and purpose. And I will share with you a few steps that you will need to take to pursue purpose even in this period of quarantine. So I promise you that this evening session is going to be riveting. So don't leave, we are going to be with you.
Thank you so much, Lemoy, for having me on this platform. I'm totally appreciative, and I believe this is a great platform to engage singles, as it was mentioned, and find their purpose. And I'm grateful to God that you allowed me to share with this cohort and with this group as it relates to purpose. And I will kind of share more in detail about my life within the presentation. So I want to just get right into it. I briefly want to speak to us on this topic. I'm pursuing purpose. I'm pursuing purpose. And I believe there are certain important quotes and notes I want to identify here. It's critically important to differentiate between purpose and passion, right? We need to critically differentiate the difference between purpose and passion. Now, while these terms can oftentimes be misused and viewed as one or the other, they are very much distinctively different from one another. All right, let's begin with identifying what passion is. According to Timothy McMillan, or Timothy McClimmon, rather, he's a leadership strategist, and he notes this is what he notes. He states that philosophers and poets and consultants have debated the tension between purpose and passion for years. And some have argued that passion is about your emotions, while purpose is the reason behind those emotions. Right? He says that some have argued that passion is about your emotion, while purpose is the reason behind those emotions, or that passion is about the what. And what he means by that is I'm passionate about whatever that is. So you're passionate about, it can be about anything. You can fill in the blank, what you're passionate about. And purpose is about the why. I'm here to accomplish what it is. And that's a blank statement. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. Passion is about the what, and purpose is about the why. Or that passion is about yourself while purpose is about others. Or that passion is the result of doing meaningful work, not the reason for doing that work. Jeremy Hazelwood, in his article, The Difference Between Passion and Purpose, Jamie Hazelwood, he wrote this article or blog entitled The Difference Between Passion and Purpose. He notes this: the thing is, we can have many passions throughout our lives, but our purpose is singular. I think that's critical for us to understand that we can have many passions throughout our lives, but our purpose is singular. Our purpose is the result of what we do in this world to accomplish God's vision for our life. Now, if you want a definition for a purpose, that's it right there. Our purpose is the result of what we do in this world to accomplish God's vision for our lives. And we're going to look at that momentarily. People ask open-ended questions like, what are you passionate about? And this can have one or multiple answers. People don't ask, what are your purposes in life? It's always singular. Here it is. It's the mission that you are set out to accomplish. People usually ask questions about your passion and purpose. And when they ask about your passion, it's always open-ended. What are you passionate about? You can name 10 to 15, 100 things what you're passionate about. But when people are referring to your purpose, they're intentionally asking about one singular fact or one singular purpose or intent. And usually that is always singular. And what that really is It's the mission that you are set out to accomplish. So you got to ask yourself the question, number one, I know I exist, but what is the why for my existence? Right? Once you find out the why for your existence, you will understand what you're created for. And so there is a sweet spot, or rather the sweet spot is where passion and purpose align. This is an important principle, because the moment we're able to identify our purpose, and then we're able to couple and marry our purpose with our passion, that's the sweet spot, because both are now in alliance with one another and both in association. For example, you have a passion for helping children in impoverished countries, and your purpose is to help eradicate disease and famine in impoverished countries. See, it fulfills your internal impact and maximizes your outward impact. And though this may be the case, it still takes action on your part to fulfill your purpose. For example, if your passion and purpose are to help impoverished children, but you do nothing about it, then your purpose is left out to dry like wet cloths. Here it is. Purpose takes action. A very critical principle. You must understand that purpose requires action. Most people are aware of their passions, but few are aware of their purpose. This is why people confuse passion with purpose so often, as I've done in the past as well. It took a long road, spurred out of one of my passions, to help me realize that my passion was not my purpose. I grew, learned, evolved, and developed new passions, one of which then became my purpose. Now, before I conclude this, I want to really establish this very important principle as it relates to passion and purpose. In order for us to understand the necessity of our purpose and to fulfill our purpose and to ensure that we are fulfilling God's vision for our lives, purpose requires, here's a very important principle that I teach my church. Purpose requires vision. Purpose requires vision. It's imperative in order for a person to function in their purpose, or even before they function their purpose, to identify their purpose. It requires that individual to have vision. Now, scripturally, and even biblically, vision is not just referring to the sensory output to which we perceive reality. So through our eyes. So when we speak about vision, we're not just speaking about what I can see. So I can see you right now in person based upon the output that my sense of my eyes is telling me. Biblically and scripturally, vision requires to revelation, or rather, vision means revelation. So vision, in its biblical sense, is the revelatory word that God inputs into you. So when I talk about you need vision, I'm not just talking about that you need eyesight, you also need divine insight. So when you now have divine insight, it now will project what your purpose is and also give you a trajectory of your life. Here it is. Why is this important? Because vision provides oversight and foresight to the now and the next. So when you have vision, you're able to see your present, but also it gives you the ability to see the future. Also, vision provides discernment. That is the ability to discern, and as a result, the ability to demonstrate what you have discerned, right? Or what you have seen. You need discernment. You need the ability to be able to analyze and to observe your context, psychologically, spiritually, and even temporally in this reality. Here it is. Vision provides direction. You need a trajectory. So you cannot, and this is the danger of passion, because what passion does, passion allows us to operate on our emotions. And so if we're going through a tough situation, let's say we're pursuing a career, we're pursuing a dream, we're pursuing a goal, and we come into contact with a difficult time, we come into contact with a very tough time, it is most likely that we can change our goal, or we can deviate from our goal, or we can redirect from our goals if it's fueled on emotions. Because if we're happy, we can fulfill it. But if we're sad, if we're frustrated, if we're going through a time of anxiety, of frustration, of depression and or oppression, whatever the case may be, that's affecting our emotional output, that can determine whether or not we continue to fulfill the mandate of our goal. However, if you are viewing that goal as through the lens through purpose, no matter what you experience in life, you will always be able to fulfill and to push forward, because purpose is not fueled. Here it is. This is an important principle. Purpose is not fueled by emotions. Purpose is fueled by destiny. Purpose is not fueled by emotions, but it's fueled by destiny. In other words, if you are destined to fulfill it, if you are destined to accomplish it, if you are destined to manifest your existence in whatever that case may be, whatever that thing may be, it will fuel you no matter what type of situations or circumstance that comes during your life. Here it is. And lastly, before I close, vision provides progression, right? Vision provides progression. In other words, when you are able to have vision, as opposed to being stuck in a place, right, you are able to move and to progress in whatever capacity that may be, because now you have insight, you have, or rather you have foresight, you have insight, and you also have hindsight. So you're able to see the realities within you, and you can make the best decisions to ensure that you are fulfilling that assignment over your life. Now, how does that relate to my life? Purpose cannot be fulfilled, here it is, without vision. Now, Miles Monroe made this great comment, and he says, this great statement, rather, and I quote, he says, vision is foresight with insight based on hindsight. You hear what I said? This is a very important quote. Miles Monroe, who's one of the greatest speakers that we have experienced in 21st century, he said, vision is foresight with insight based on hindsight. He also says that ultimately our visions aren't about ourselves, but about God and his purpose, right? And our visions aren't about ourselves. So when you have a vision about your future, it's not about what you think your future is or what you designed or create. What you are envisioning is what God created for you to fulfill, right? People cannot give you your vision. They can only confirm it. And the source of your vision comes from God. Now, how does this relate to me in my particular position? Now, I'll give you a short snapshot of what that looks like. Currently, right now, I'm pursuing a doctorate degree, and that has always been my dream, to pursue a doctorate, to go to school and to pursue a doctorate degree. I lived in Toronto for about 24 years. I'm 30 years old. So I lived in Toronto about 24 years, and I moved out to Alberta, where I live right now. I've been here about for 5 years now or so. And I came here initially just to visit my dad as he moved here. And I'll provide you a short story. I moved here so I can just visit my dad, and God allowed it that this 2-week visitation turned into 5 years. It's crazy how that even happened. That's a whole nother story. But nevertheless, when I moved here, I was pursuing a master's degree. And then life happened. I got married here, and I'm here currently now. And I think it was just last week or so, 2 weeks ago, that I actually got accepted into my doctorate degree or doctoral program. Now, I'll say this. When I was in high school, I was never the smartest kid. In high school, I never liked school. I struggled in school. Like if I got a B, I thought I was successful. Listen, if I got a C, I thought I was successful. And I struggled through school. I struggled through school because I always struggled with a sense of insecurity. I struggled with a sense of not thinking I'm smart enough. And that traveled with me for so many years. And I never thought I would be smart enough to further myself in education, because I never thought I was smart. I never thought I was a smart kid at all. I used football. I used so many other things to masquerade my insecurities. And it was my final year in high school. I need to make a decision whether or not I was going to go to college or whatnot. And I remember I decided I was going to go to college just so that I can, because I see all my friends going elsewhere. They're going to university, they're getting accepted, and I didn't get nothing. I didn't get no acceptance letter. And I remember my mom told me, nothing against those who attended college. My mom said, "Why are you settling? Because for what you're afraid of approaching." She asked me, "Why am I settling for what I'm afraid of approaching?" And she said, "Listen, not that you cannot go to college, but I see that you have the potential for greater, but you are settling." And I was afraid of the greater. I was afraid to really take that faith because I didn't know what to really expect and what that would look like. Nevertheless, I decided to shoot for the stars, and I was able to get into university. In one semester, I had to take 6 university courses. Listen, I'm not good at school, and I had to take 6 university courses in one semester. And I worked my butt off. I worked myself off until I was able to get accepted. And I went to Laurentian University, and then I went to York University, and then I'm here now. Now, I said all of that to say this. When I was in that situation where I didn't think I was smart enough, someone saw my purpose, even though I was not able to see the purpose within myself. And so that's why I believe that what Lemoy is doing right now is great, and it's imperative, because you are listening to me and you may be wondering, I don't see myself fulfilling that purpose that seems so far away. I don't see myself fulfilling that dream or fulfilling that God-given destiny that I'm called to, because it seems so far away. And that's why you have someone like Lemoy who's able to see your potential and to challenge you and to allow you to work at it until you get there. Once you are attached and associated with somebody that can see your potential and that can see your potential even in your present, you will be able to be attached to someone that will walk with you and journey with you until you maximize in your God-given purpose. And I say that to say, if it wasn't for my mother pushing me, if it wasn't for my wife that was pushing me and that was attached to me and allowed me to get where I got to, I do not think I would have gotten here. And so fulfilling purpose does not, even though you may have times of isolation, and I'll close with this, fulfilling purpose also requires being connected to the right people. And so you are connected to the right person and to the right forum. And I believe that every single one of you will fulfill your purpose before you die. That's my final words.
Thank you so much, Pastor Rohan, for presenting such a wonderful presentation. Indeed, I was challenged. I think if we're going to talk about pursuing purpose, it is important for us to be able to identify what is purpose and what is passion. And one of the things that you mentioned is that passion is about emotions, but purpose is the reason behind those emotions. And so my assignment at this time is to walk you through a series of steps that you should be doing at this time as we're in quarantine if you are thinking about pursuing purpose. So some of these steps include declutter, protect your time, reset your mind, have an action plan, and make a bold step to launch. When we think about decluttering, as for me, I think the first thing that comes to mind is my closet. Just going through your closet and looking at what you have. Maybe in decluttering, you realize that you have some fashion that are outdated, that needs to retire. It may be that you find some fashion that you have not touched. Have you ever gone into your closet and you're saying to yourself, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I still have this or I did not touch this? So I want you to think about decluttering in the same mindset as we move forward. When we talk about decluttering the mind, the same principles apply. Maybe you need to change some negative thoughts that you have about yourself. Sometimes these negative thoughts, they were not planted by you, they were planted by others. And there are other times that these negative thoughts were planted by you, but they were as a result of the negative seeds that others planted. And over time, you believe those lies. So if you're going to pursue purpose, declutter your mind, get rid of the negative thoughts and the negative mindset that you have concerning yourself. Another thing that you will need to do is to face your fears. Maybe it is something that you can't do by yourself. Maybe you need to speak to a counselor to be able to overcome the fears. Because I must tell you, my friends, if you have fear in your life to the point that it cripples you from moving forward, that is something that you will have to deal with. It will prevent you from pursuing purpose. Any change that must take place, it must take place in the mind. So your mind is where purpose starts. So we have to be able to work on the mind. And now we're going to move on to personal space. Declutter your personal space. Reevaluate who are the people that are in your personal space. So, as you're decluttering your closet, think about your personal space. Who are the people that are close to me? And you need to ask yourself, what value are they adding to my life? If they're not adding value to your life, my friends, it is a time to let them go. Some may be very close to you, some may be family, some may be good friends. But if these individuals are not adding value to your life, they're not adding the positivity that you need to get to your next level, then you will have to be intentional about getting them out of your circle. I know it's difficult, but guess what? Your purpose, it is worth fighting for. Your purpose is important, and you will have to do what it takes to ensure that your personal space is filled with positivity. Some of the things that you may need to do, maybe you need to stop answering some calls. Maybe you need to block your number. Or in some cases, hopefully, you don't need to change your address. But whatever it takes, protect your personal space. Then we're going to move on to habits. Habits is so important, whether they are positive habits or whether they are negative habits. But in this sense, I am talking about the negative habits. You know yourself. And I trust that if you cannot be honest with anyone, you must be able to be honest with yourself. What are some of the habits that you are currently engaged in that will prevent you from moving to your next level, that will prevent you from maximizing your potential? It is time to change those habits. Maybe it's procrastination. I will do it next week. I will do it next month. And next week and next month will never come. So, habits are also important, and it's time to declutter those habits. Protect your time. Time is so important. I guarantee you that if tomorrow morning you should lose $1,000, if you work overtime, maybe pick up a few more shifts at work, you'll be able to gain that $1,000 all over again. But when you lose time, you cannot regain time. And so time is important. What you do with your time, you will have to be accountable to God about your time. You will have to tell God at the end of your life, what did I do with the time that was given to you? Whatever takes up your time controls your destiny. Whatever takes up your time controls your destiny. I know that this is a hard truth, but if we're honest with ourselves, we will see that this statement is true. If your entire day is spent just having a good talk with friends on the phone or checking your status on Facebook, you are robbing yourself. You are robbing your destiny of valuable time that could be invested in activities that would help you to get to your next level. And so, my friends, it is important that as of today, as of this minute, that you reevaluate how is it that I am spending my time, and you protect your time. Your answer cannot be yes to everything. Your answer cannot be yes to every time a friend says to you, let's go to the movie, let's go to the mall, let's go hang out. Sometimes you will have to say no. If you are about to pursue purpose, your time is valuable. And I want you to make sure that your time is protected. You're not only accountable to yourself, but you're accountable to God who gave you breath, who gave you time. So be mindful of that. Reset your mind. Reset your mind. I think this is going to be key if we're going to move forward, even in this period of quarantine. We have to change how we think. We have to change our mindset 360-degree if we're going to move forward. Now we have to think positively about ourselves. Think positively about yourself. Remember, you declutter your mind. So you had uprooted those seeds of negativity that were planted, whether by yourself or whether by your family. So now that those seeds are no longer there, you have to replant. And so now we are going to replant positivity. So if it means that you're going to stand before your mirror and affirm yourself, I am beautiful, I am worthy, I am capable. Whatever you do, you must start to think positively about yourself. That is important. Reposition your identity or create a new identity. I think this is key. Sometimes our identity or the image that we have of ourselves, it is so marred, it is so scarred that if we're supposed to move forward with that same identity, it is going to rob us from a life that should be fulfilled. It is going to rob us from that purpose that God has for our lives. I don't know if you have ever watched a makeover show. They will have to change your hairstyle, they'll have to change your appearance. In some cases, they'll ask you to change your language. And so, what I'm saying to you, as you move forward in this new season, in this new time, you may need to create a new identity for yourself and ensure that as you create this new identity, it is not as the world describes you, but I want you to find that new identity in Christ. What does the Word of God says about you? That you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. That you can do all things, not some things, but all things through Christ who strengthens you, my friends. So, reset your mind as we move forward and have a plan. A plan is going to be so important in this next season of your life. Make your vision concrete. I know people will tell me from time to time, like, I have a plan. And I'll ask them, where is that plan? Oh, it's in my mind. That's great. But your plan needs to be concrete. So make it your business today to move your plans or your visions from your mind and to write them. Write the vision, make it plain. Wait for it. It may tarry, but wait for it. It will surely come to pass. And that's part of kingdom principle of writing your vision and making it plain. Then we want to make sure that we set smart goals. Make sure that your goals are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic. Make sure that these goals are something that you will be able to attain in this lifetime. And importantly, have a timeline attached to your goals. Have a timeline attached to your goals. Even in making smart goals, you will have to talk about small action steps that you will have to take in order for these big goals to become a reality. Have an accountability partner. I know for some people it is hard to be consistent. Oh, you know what? I'm going to start the gym. And we start 2 weeks, and next week we find an excuse. And so it is important that you identify an individual in your circle that can become an accountable partner, an accountability partner. And I think this takes me back to the point that I made earlier of how important it is for you to declutter your space. Because if you cannot find an accountability partner in your space something is wrong. So make sure you find an accountability partner. And last but not least, I want you to keep motivated. This is going to be important if you're going to pursue purpose. And let me tell you something, my friends. Sometimes that motivation has to come from you. Sometimes that intrinsic motivation, it has to come from within. So that fire, it's burning from the within, from within rather. I want you to know that not all times you will have someone cheering for you. Sometimes you will have to be your own cheerleader. So you must be willing to be able to run with that vision, run with that dream that God has given to you. Ignite the flames, and you will be surprised to see what happens. All you need to do is to make that first step. And now we're going to talk about just do it. Make a bold step to launch. And I'll share with you. If you notice here, I have a selfie stick and I have a bottle here. So I am from the Caribbean. So at Christmas, we will make our Christmas pudding. And so I'll use this as wine to make pudding. And I remember a couple of years ago, the Lord placed an idea on my heart, and I went to the company that was supposed to help me with my marketing, get my videos going. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. The person who was working with me, they ended up leaving the company and not telling me. I reached out to the manager and he said, you know what? We're not able to reimburse that money. And for a while, I stopped dreaming. I was devastated. And one morning, I was in bed and I don't know what happened, but it just came to my mind. Lemoy, are you going to allow someone who did not get the vision, someone that God did not tell to do it, prevent you from doing it? And at that time, I was not even involved in social media. I didn't even know how to use this selfie stick. And I went to YouTube to see how to use it. Then I realized, okay, who is going to hold it for me? I need somebody to hold it. And the only thing that came to mind, remember you have a bottle with some wine. So I emptied this bottle, I put my selfie stick in, I mounted my phone, and I started my first video, and I called it Just Do It. So what I'm trying to say to you, my friend, now is the good time. Now is the right time to start. Don't put off what you could do today for tomorrow. Your purpose is worth fighting for. And so I want to leave two quotes with you today from my favorite author, one of them, Dr. Miles Monroe. And he says, each of you comes into the world with an assignment to fulfill. Yes, you who are watching today, you came into this world with an assignment to fulfill. And your assignment is different from your neighbor's assignment. So I want you to focus on your assignment. The graveyards are full of great men and women who never became great because they did not give their ability responsibility. So, my friends, I leave a challenge with you today. Whatever you do, make sure that you give your ability responsibility. I want you to give your ability responsibility. I want you to make that bold step to launch. Make that bold step. Step into the unknown and trust the author of the unknown that he will guide you. And so, my final words to you is start now. My final words to you is start now. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us today for Singles Pursuing Purpose. I hope that you were able to grab words of wisdom, nuggets of wisdom from myself and Pastor Rohan as you step into your next season of purpose. So go for today and pursue your purpose. Until we meet again, walk good.